Hi, I'm James Gerke with Magnify Leadership and Development. I'm here to introduce to you the Leadership Pilgrimage, a virtual way to personal leadership excellence. Leadership is a journey, not a destination. However, I feel that few leaders really ever embark on the type of journey that leads to a place that fosters greatness in themselves or in their teams. That type of journey, I think, is best described as a pilgrimage, a leadership pilgrimage. But few leaders still ever have the opportunity to gather on an actual pilgrimage site to retrace the steps of an ancient pilgrimage route. That type of route is a sacred journey with a purpose, one that requires vision, focus, and perseverance to complete. During a pilgrimage, pilgrims share a common experience, that of enlightenment through solitude and the sacrifice of their journey. The Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James, is that type of journey. It is also a powerful metaphor for a leadership pilgrimage, a type of self-reflective journey that leads to insights and leadership enlightenment. In the ideal world, I would like to take actual leaders out on the ancient pilgrimage paths like the Camino de Santiago in northern Spain. It was on these paths that in ancient times pilgrims traveled on pilgrimages as a sacrifice in order to gain enlightenment and to answer some of life's big questions. Questions like, why am I here? What is my purpose in life? What do I need to do to achieve and maximize my full potential? It's questions like these that leadership pilgrims also answer through the sacrifice and dedication of journeying on the leadership pilgrimage. These questions are like, who am I as a leader? Why should others follow me? What is my purpose? What do I have to do to magnify my talents and abilities? And what is and how do I achieve my leadership legacy? I created the virtual leadership pilgrimage to expand the reach of the leadership pilgrimage. This is the ideal tool and setting for individuals, groups, teams, or entire organizations to travel virtually on a leadership pilgrimage, tracing the actual pilgrimage route virtually as they learn about the 5 parallels between the pilgrimage of Santiago and the lessons of leadership that I've learned over my 20 plus years in corporate leadership development. Number 1 lesson. Since classical times, when pilgrims read on Delphi's temple's walls the sign that said, "Know thyself," pilgrims realized that enlightenment comes through the sacrifice of the journey, not the fact of arriving at a physical place. The value of the leadership journey is learning the same: who you are, what your values are, what your vision is, your strengths, your weaknesses, and how to leverage them in order to create a meaningful legacy. Number 2, pilgrims travel with intense focus to a physical location on the map and an internal place in their hearts, minds, and souls. Just the same, leadership pilgrims must also develop a laser-like focus, a vision with an intense drive to create and achieve a lasting legacy. Number 3, sacrifice and suffering are integral elements of a pilgrimage. So too, leadership pilgrims must persevere and overcome the difficulties and obstacles they encounter to achieve their goals. Number 4, on the Camino de Santiago, a seashell marks the way of the Camino. Its many grooves are like unique paths of each pilgrim, and they all converge on one point and one purpose. This symbol marks the way for pilgrims to follow. It also motivates and inspires and directs their actions in order for them to achieve the goal on the Way of St. James. Leadership pilgrims must also find ways to inspire, motivate, and direct others to join them on their journey to create and achieve greatness. Lastly, medieval pilgrims believed that the Milky Way above them was actually formed from the dust kicked up from each pilgrim's step as they walked on their way to Santiago. And that sign became an internal sign that magnified the efforts of millions of pilgrims. Leaders also must find the way to create some type of lasting legacy to inspire and motivate others, that others can follow their example. On an actual leadership pilgrimage adventure, you would walk each day along the trail while reflecting on the lessons learned during each day's workshop assignments. As Henry David Thoreau said about walking in nature, "I took a walk in the woods and came out taller than the trees." There's really a transformative experience of walking deliberately with a purpose, with self-reflection that happens to a pilgrim while walking in nature. On the virtual pilgrimage, we will do our best to recreate that journey virtually. As you explore each of the 5 leadership pilgrimage principles, you'll also be asked to walk, run, ride, or exercise in the way that best suits your interests and needs, in order to recreate the efforts and the sacrifice that the actual pilgrim makes as they're walking on the way to St. James. And through the magic of technology, we'll mark your progress using an exercise tool like Fitbit and a map that you'll find on our website, theleadershippilgrimage.com. that tracks the progress of all the current virtual leadership pilgrims as they travel across the map and as they study the 5 principles of leadership. To mark their success along the way of St. James, pilgrims collect stamps on a passport. They collect these from the different places that they stay and visit along the way of St. James. And by the end of their journey, most pilgrims have collected dozens of these stamps on a passport that demonstrates their progress along the route. So too, virtual leadership pilgrims will collect stamps on a virtual leadership passport that serves as a reminder and proof of the activities and the efforts that they made in each of the learning principles that they've completed on their way to creating their leadership legacy. The pilgrim's passport on the way of St. James is used as proof that the pilgrim has met the requirements of the pilgrimage to achieve the Compostela. That Compostela is a certificate that states their name and the purpose of their pilgrimage, their chosen pilgrimage path, and it serves as a lasting reminder to the pilgrim, along with the shell, the symbol of the pilgrimage, of the lessons they learned and the self-discovery they achieved during the pilgrimage. Likewise, virtual leadership pilgrims will convert their symbolic leadership pilgrimage passport into a leadership pilgrimage certificate, which serves as a reminder and an inspiration of all that they have achieved and all that they have learned on their pilgrimage. It'll include the miles traveled virtually on their exercises, their core leadership values that they have discovered, their aspirational leadership legacy vision, their daily, monthly, and yearly goals in order to achieve that legacy, their chosen leadership symbol, and all will serve as a lasting reminder of the journey of self-discovery and growth they have accomplished on their journey. I invite all of you to go to our website, theleadershippilgrimage.com, to learn more about how you can start your own virtual leadership legacy. I've tried to create a unique leadership journey, one that is tailored to your needs, to your interests, that is inspirational and will motivate you to achieve more in your leadership responsibilities. As I've said many times before, my role is a guide to lead you on the process that will help you magnify your potential as a leader, to become a bigger, greater, more effective leader than you thought was possible before. As they say on the way of St. James, they say buen camino when they come across another pilgrim, which means good journey. I'd say to you, good leadership journey, and I look forward to seeing you virtually on the Leadership Pilgrimage.